screen right now, the Upper Merion High School cheerleaders. As I said, Irv Smith leading scorer for Upper Merion with 11.8 points per game. Stan Brown right behind him with 11.5 points per game. Ron Wells has 10 points a game for the Eagles. Once again, this game being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District. Substitution into the ball game, number 5, Darwin Smith for Norristown. Throws the ball in right in front of us here at courtside. Theron Ellis to Ron Wells. Oh, nice play, but Wells can't make the shot. O'Brien, good rebound. Shot's blocked by Washington. Ellis comes away. Won't go for him. White ball as Spearman knocks the ball out of bounds. Upper Merion tightening up a little bit here. Some tenacious play from them as they open up this second quarter. Yep, double dribble from Forrest Davis. Little mental lapse there as John Cresswell calls his defense as his team proceeds down the court to set up. Darwin Smith played a fair amount of time in that Plymouth Whitemarsh game, for those of you who were here for that or who saw it on Norristown High Cable. Nice fadeaway by Spearman. Good basket. Give him 2 and give the Vikings 6 for the ball game. The Eagles still 13 points ahead. Out of bounds, Norristown possession. The Eagles averaging 49 points a game so far this season, only giving up 46.3 points a game. Upper Merion, on the other hand, giving up 46 points a game and only scoring 40.3 points per game. They've got to improve on that as this season progresses, obviously. Wells, nice baseline move. I'll tell you, nobody went up to challenge Ron Wells that time, and he took advantage of it. He's got 6 tonight. Oh, they beat the press, but Chapman comes away with it. Wells back outside to Forrest Davis. Wells wants that jumper. He's got it this time. I'll tell you, Ron Wells came on fire in the PW game, brought Norristown right back into it and led them to victory. The score is 23-6. We've got a foul on the play, and Ron Wells is going to be the man called for it. Give Wells 2 personals. He's going to take a rest on the bench as Stanley Brown re-enters the ball game. 6:33 to go in the half. The score 23-6. This will be a shooting foul as Norristown is now in the penalty situation. Should be a one-on-one. We'll wait and see for sure. Yes, it is, and at the line, number 25, Bob Clark. Makes the first, he'll shoot the bonus. The Vikes still not in double digits, 7 points on the evening. Talbot drops back to guard against the fast break. Should Clark miss this shot. Clark makes them both. The score now 23-8. The Eagles up on top by 15. Oh, nice pass. I'll tell you, Theron Ellis, a beautiful pass to Pat O'Brien. And O'Brien with the bank shot. O'Brien now with 4. Helensky's got Spearman. Dishes off. Oh. Helensky with a turnaround. Another block by Ellis. And they call the foul on Forrest Davis, reaching in, trying to stop that follow-up shot by Spearman. That time, a nice play by Theron. He blocked the initial shot. Spearman came in off the pass from Helensky, thought he had a layup, was intimidated by Ellis, wound up underneath the basket, had nowhere to go. Got the ball back, however. Theron blocked it again. And then Forrest Davis called for reaching in. 1-and-1 situation again. This time it's Ed Helensky. He makes the first. 25-9. And this is what Upper Merion would like to see happen. This ball game slow down somewhat. As many times as they can get to the free throw line, they'll take it because they're having a horrible time scoring from the field here. Now, that basket was good by Helensky. However, there was a lane violation by one of the Upper Merion players, so the basket will not count. The score remains 25-9. Chapman down to the baseline. Brown, pump, goes to O'Brien. Wide open, won't go. Follow. They're going to call that offensive foul. Pat O'Brien crashes the boards, and he's called for it. O'Brien doesn't like the call, but I think it was the right one. Irv Smith back into the ball game as Pat O'Brien's going to take another rest on the bench. I believe that's 3 fouls against Pat O'Brien. Re-entering the ball game for Upper Merion, number 11, Brad Gasson, as Talbot takes a rest. 1-1 again, Jim White. White makes another one. I'll tell you, Upper Merion deadly from the line this evening. It could bring them right back into this ball game. However, they've still got 15 more points to cover, make that 14. 25-11 as Jim White makes both. He's the leading UM scorer with 4 points. Irv Smith, one-on-one, pulls up, bank shot won't go. Good job that time by Rod Washington defending on Irv Smith. Norristown drops back on defense. Stanley Brown pressures Clark. That was over and back. They don't call it, but Stanley Brown's got a breakaway. Goes in for the layup, the basket's good. So Norristown benefits. 6 points for Stan Brown. The Eagles ahead 27-11, right back into that full court pressure. Helensky's got White on the left side. Goes to the right for Bob Clark. Oh, Ellis, what a block. Outlet to Stanley Brown. Brown with another layup. And there it is. Upper Merion's got to call timeout. And there it is. What a turn of events. Heck of a play by Theron Ellis. He has the potential to turn a ball game around. That young man can leap beyond belief. Upper Merion got a break. They were over and back. Stan Brown gets a steal, goes in for a layup. Norristown with the full court pressure. Helensky seemingly has it beaten, dishes off to Bob Clark. Clark goes in for the layup, and Theron Ellis just waits in midair, slams the ball back. They outlet to Stan Brown again, and again he converts on the easy layup. So 4 quick points puts Norristown ahead in this ball game, 29-11, with 5:14 remaining in the first half. In the JV contest here tonight, the Norristown boys, an easy victor over Upper Merion. And so far this evening, the varsity contest is sizing up just the same. Mr. Sam Galbraith is producing and directing our program tonight. We'd like to thank Sam for all his help. And of course, Mr. Tony Koya, who is Director of Communications for the school district. Tony not with us here this evening. He'll be with us, of course, for subsequent ball games. And hopefully Alan Raleigh will be back with me as this season progresses. A lot of big games coming up this season. Don't forget the Triangle Club tournament held over the holidays. Those games will be played on December 27th and 30th. That's a Friday and a Monday. In the tournament this year, I believe, are Norristown, Bishop Kenrick, Souderton, and Wissahickon. Oh, Ellis, nice steal. Chapman comes away with it for Norristown. Pardon me, Darwin Smith. My mistake, Darwin Smith. Upper Merion steals it right back in Forrest Davis. And Theron Ellis all alone. Here's a slam. Oh my. Oh my. Theron Ellis. What a dunk. 4 points in the game for Ellis. Forrest Davis took the ball right away from number 11, Brad Gasson. He saw Theron Ellis all alone, cherry picking in the offensive end, and Ellis with an awesome slam. Nice move that time by Helensky. That's a nice stabilizing play for Upper Merion. They needed that hoop, but Stan Brown brings it right down. Forrest Davis goes in. It's there. He can't make the shot. It'll be Upper Merion ball. So now we're run and gun. Upper Merion holding their own right now, but I doubt they can do it for very long. The score is 31-13 with 4:06 left to go in the half. Clark. I think it's going to be a blocking foul against number 11, Forrest Davis. It'll be 1-1. Davis that time tried to set up to draw the offensive foul. Didn't have position long enough, however. And Bob Clark will go to the line shooting 1-1. Norristown has been in the penalty situation for some time now. Clark makes that basket. Score now 31-14. The Eagles ahead by 17 with 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Clark is good. Give him 4 points on the evening. Darwin Smith goes to Stanley Brown. Oh, Irvin Smith was open that time, but a nice defensive play by the Vikings to steal that ball right back. They've got a rather large lineup in there right now. Only one guard, really, or one small man. That's Bob Clark. Jim White didn't see that pass coming. Ball goes out of bounds. A little confusion that time down the court. Tony Funston not happy. Stanley Brown wants that baseline jumper. Nope, short. Rebound by Smith. Ball taken away by Gasson. Smith gets the ball right back, and that's over and back. They say that Irv Smith had possession before he crossed back over the midcourt line, and then, of course, once he brought the ball back across, it's over and back. (31-15). Norristown advantage at 16 points. Helensky on the far side of the court. They drop back outside. Clark pressured by Forrest Davis. Double team. There's the steal by Darwin Smith. Stanley Brown goes in on Helensky. Nice block by Ed Helensky. Helensky goes to the floor, and he is hurt, folks. Ed Helensky and Stanley Brown went crashing to the floor, and Ed Helensky looks like he's in real pain, folks. Could be his back. Looks like his arm is broken, or not broken, but injured. Tony Funston calling for a doctor. John Cresswell working his way over. Looks like Ed Helensky has seriously injured his arm. We'll have a break in the action here, folks. With 2:52 remaining in the first half, we're going to take as much time as possible to ensure that Ed Helensky doesn't do more damage to his arm. He really hit the deck hard. He and Stanley Brown came crashing to the floor after Helensky made a fine block of Brown's attempted layup, but Ed Helensky paying a supreme price for it. He was obviously severely injured when he hit the ground, his face grimacing in pain. The officials stopped the game immediately, and they're tending to him right now. Of course, the one thing you don't like to see in any athletic contest is injuries, and this is a crucial blow to the Upper Merion basketball effort. Helensky, their leading scorer, their big man in the middle, a stabilizing factor for them, and I'm certain he's going to be gone for the rest of this ball game, perhaps even more of the Upper Merion season. West Norton police are here, of course, and seeing if there's anything that they can do to assist. Helensky still down on the ground. No one, of course, wants to move him until they're certain just exactly what's wrong in order to avoid further damage. The crowd here waiting patiently, not a large crowd. Fair contingent of students are here. And the usual group of core fans that you see at every Norristown High basketball game. Upper Merion not overrepresented, certainly, at Norristown High's gymnasium. You'd think that this being such a close matchup, you'd have more Upper Merion fans here, but not the case. The next game for the Norristown Eagles is against the Abington Galloping Ghosts. That should prove to be an interesting ball game. Those two teams always go at it. We urge you to come on out here to the Norristown High School Gymnasium and watch the Eagles in person. This may not be the best crop of players you've ever seen on a Norristown High basketball court, but they're certainly interesting to watch, if nothing else. And right now, they're covering Ed Helensky with a blanket, make sure he's as warm and as comfortable as possible. Athletic Director George Ortlip down there. I have to believe that an ambulance was called for Helensky to transport him. Although an ambulance is a regular sight on call at most football games, you don't anticipate severe injuries during a basketball conflict. Once again, the score is 31-15, Norristown ahead with 2:52 remaining in the first half. The game has been stopped for some 5 minutes now due to this injury to Ed Helensky, the leading scorer this season for the Upper Merion Vikings. To run down the scoring so far, Irv Smith has 6 points in the ballgame for Norristown. Stanley Brown and Ron Wells lead the Eagles with 8 points apiece from the backcourt. Theron Ellis has 4 points in the game, including a tremendous dunk off a pass from Forrest Davis. And Pat O'Brien has 4 for the Eagles, rounding out their 31 points. For Upper Merion, well, it's a balanced attack, I suppose you can say. Bob Clark and Jim White with 4 apiece. Dave Sillo, 2 points. He had the first basket of the game. Ed Helensky, 3 points. And that's what he'll finish with, I'm sure. And Caro Spearman. Okay, folks, we're back and we're ready to play basketball. We were gone for just a moment while the West Norton Ambulance Squad came, and they've just left with Ed Helensky on a stretcher. Helensky, serious injury to his arm, it appears. All precautions being taken. He'll be taken to the hospital for examination. Upper Merion with possession of the ball. Missed their shot. Forrest Davis comes away from Norristown. Lightning pass to Darwin Smith. Smith not ready for it, out of bounds. To remind you, 2:31 remaining in the first half. The Eagles ahead, 31-15. Upper Merion in there for them. Number 11, Brad Gasson. Number 25, Bob Clark. Number 23, Caro Spearman. Number 13, Jim White. Number 21, Dave Sillo. For the Eagles across the back, number 14, Theron Ellis. Number 22, Irv Smith. And number 5, Darwin Smith. Steal by Stanley Brown. Brown cuts to the middle. Good move by Stan Brown. The ball is knocked out of bounds by number 11, Brad Gasson, however. And the 5th Eagle, number 11, Forrest Davis. 2 minutes to play in this first half. The ball comes into Ellis. Ellis goes up strong off the glass, won't go. Rebound, however, taken by Smith. Good follow by Irv Smith. Give him 9 points in the game. He's the high point scorer for Norristown. The score now 33-15. Gasson, open jumper. It's good. Brad Gasson, his first 2 points of the game. 33-17, 1:36 left to play in the second quarter. Davis with a jumper. Off the rim, no good. Rebound by Spearman. Upper Merion's got to make a move here. Close that gap. 16-point deficit they've got to overcome. Davis comes out on Clark. Good move by Clark. Open shot. Short, though, hits the front of the rim. There's going to be a foul call on number 21, Dave Sillo. Tell you, the fouls have been few and far between for Upper Merion tonight. That's got to be the one bright spot in their play this evening. Tony Funston doesn't have much else to be pleased with, however. Brown dishes off to Smith. Darwin Smith in and out, no good. Ellis pushes the ball. They fight for the rebound. Saved by White off Irv Smith. It'll be blue ball. Upper Merion with possession. 37 seconds to play in this second quarter. Eagles up 33-17. Clark can't handle the pass. It'll be Norristown ball. 23 seconds to go. Stan Brown. Davis, they go inside to Irv Smith. The ball bounces around, taken by Gasson. 12 seconds to go in the half. Stan Brown pressures Clark, taps the ball away. Clark gets it back in the lane, and the basket's good with 5 seconds left to play in the half. Clark now has 6. Norristown won't get a shot. Yep, Forrest Davis puts it up, no good. And at halftime, the Eagles maintain their advantage, 33-19. We'll be back, pardon me, I'll be back in just a moment with a recap of the first half of play. At halftime, folks, the Eagles up on top 33-19. Actually, in that second quarter, Upper Merion cut 1 point off the Norristown advantage. After one, the Eagles were ahead 19-4. Let me run down the scoring for you very quickly. The leading Norristown scorers is number 22, Irv Smith. He's got 9 points in this first half. Following right behind Smith are Stan Brown and Ron Wells, the starting guards. They've got 8 apiece. Theron Ellis and Pat O'Brien round out the Eagles scorers with 4 each. For Upper Merion, Bob Clark tops their list with 6 points. Jim White follows with 4, and then Ed Helensky finishes the game with 3 points. He left the ball game at 2:52 of the second quarter. A serious injury to Ed Helensky. He was taken away by the West Norton ambulance squad. The game was delayed for some 15 minutes due to his injury. That injury, of course, caused when he went up to block a Stanley Brown shot. They both came crashing to the floor. Brown came up unhurt. Ed Helensky obviously injured. We hope Ed's doing very well. He received a nice round of applause as he left the floor here at the Norristown High School Gymnasium. I'm sure everyone wishing him well. Hopefully he'll be back in uniform for Upper Merion sometime in the near future. Also scoring for the Vikings tonight, Dave Sillo with 2 points, Caro Spearman with 2, and Brad Gasson also with 2. Once again, the score 33-19, and Norristown simply dominating that first half of play. They let up a little bit as we closed out the second quarter. Got to give them credit, though, for playing a rather flawless ball game to this point. They've played intense defense. Their full court pressure to begin the ball game really rattled the Upper Merion ball handlers, created numerous turnovers, which Norristown was able to convert into easy baskets. The Eagles are playing good offensively. They've got balanced scoring. It looks like Stan Brown, Ron Wells, and Irv Smith are going to be the scorers this year for Norristown High. They're the players who have done it the first 4 ball games, and they've done it so far in this 5th ball game. Once again, as I predicted, Theron Ellis, an intimidating factor on defense. It seems no matter what the game, Theron Ellis manages to change up shots for opposition players. It's a talent that he's got, and it's got to be something that John Cresswell is quite grateful for. There's no height on this Norristown team, but there is Theron Ellis in the middle. Norristown out in this second half, they've got to do the same thing they did in the first half, play error-free basketball. They've got to avoid turnovers, that fast pace that we saw sometime in the second quarter. That's beneficial to Norristown. They can run and gun, and they can certainly outrun Upper Merion. Merion's got to slow the pace down, get their points, make their shots count, and put some tough defensive pressure on the Norristown Eagles if they want to climb back into this ball game. I'll be back in just a moment with the second half of play. Thank you for being with us, and we hope you'll stay tuned for the remaining 16 minutes.